What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate podcast. We are officially down to 4 teams left in the playoffs. It is conference finals time. Today, we are going to be going over the Western Conference Finals, the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'll give you my prediction, go over the key points to the series, all that. Let's hop into it. So the way I kind of broke it down was I broke down each team into 5 key factors, and those factors are offense, defense, the size of the team, the experience of the team, and how clutch the team is. Because in my opinion, those are the 5 things that a team has to be good at in order to make it to the finals or maybe even win the championship. So let's go over those real quick. We'll start with the offense. So when it comes to points per game, the Thunder were better in the normal season, and they have been better in the playoffs so far. So they clear there. They're better team when it comes to scoring over the Timberwolves. When it comes to three-point percentage, though, the Timberwolves are a better shooting team. In the normal season and in the playoffs, they have shot at a higher clip from behind the arc than the Thunder. And then I broke it down into players over 15 points per game. The reason I did 15, a player that can consistently score 15 points per game means they are a consistent scorer. 10 points, you might get lucky here and there, but 15 points, if you can score 15 points per game, that means you are an above average scorer. So that's kind of the threshold I made there. So the Thunder in the normal season and the playoffs have 3 players. Obviously SGA and Jalen Williams score over 15, but also Chet had over 15 points per game in the normal season and in the playoffs. When it comes to the Timberwolves, in the normal season, it was Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. And then they actually had one more guy step up in the playoffs. It's been Jaden McDaniels. I've said it before, I don't think Jaden McDaniels will keep this up. I don't think he'll continue to score this good, especially against this Oklahoma City defense. So I'm going to give the Thunder the edge there because they have had more consistent scoring when it comes to guys scoring 15 points per game. And then the last thing I looked at was turnovers per game. How do these teams fare when it comes to limiting turnovers? And OKC is the best team in the league in the normal season and in the playoffs. They only average around 11 per game. On the other hand, Timberwolves not so good. They're averaging around 14 per game, and that ranks around like 15th to 18th, depending on the playoffs or normal season. So they turn the ball over way more than the Thunder. So when it comes to offense, I'm going to give the Thunder the slight edge here. Next, we'll hop into defense. So when it comes to defensive rating, the Thunder are the best team in the league. They rank number 1 defensive rating in the normal season and in the playoffs. The Timberwolves aren't bad themselves. They were 6 in the normal season and have been 2nd in the playoffs. But the Thunder are just better, the best team in the league. Next, I looked at how these teams force turnovers. And the Thunder are also number 1 best in the league in the normal season and in the playoffs. The Timberwolves, not so much. In the regular season, they only ranked 13th, and they ranked 2nd in the playoffs. But I think part of the reason why is because who they played. They got kind of lucky that they played the Warriors with no Curry, and then they played the Lakers, who have shown they're just not very good. But either way, the Thunder are number 1 in the league. The Thunder are going to be better no matter what. Then I looked at steals per game. The Thunder are also number 1 in the normal season and in the playoffs. Timberwolves, same thing. Not so good. Only 18th in the playoffs. 18th in the normal season and 4th in the playoffs. So same type of thing. But either way, it doesn't matter. The Thunder are the best team in the league. And then we looked at blocks. The Thunder were 2nd in the normal season, while the Timberwolves were only 14th. And the Thunder were 4th in the playoffs, while the Timberwolves are only 10. So the Thunder just clear on defense. And every statistic, the Thunder are the best defensive team. So obviously, I give the edge to the Thunder. Next, we'll get into the size of these teams. So both of these teams have double big lineups that they can throw out. So they are both good when it comes to size. The Timberwolves have Gobert and Naz Reid, and the Thunder have Chet and Hartenstein. So they both have double big lineups that they can throw out. But let's get into the stats here. So when it comes to total rebounds per game, the Thunder were 11th in the normal season, while the Timberwolves were only 15th. And in the playoffs, the Thunder were 3rd, while the Timberwolves are only 10th. So the Thunder have been better when it comes to total rebounds. When it comes to specifically offensive rebounds, the Timberwolves were actually better in the normal season. They ranked 15th. And in the normal season, the Thunder ranked 20th. But when it comes to the playoffs, the Thunder have been better. The Thunder ranked number 2 in the playoffs, while the Timberwolves only rank 8th. So that's kind of a wash there. Defensive rebounds, the Thunder have just been way better. In the normal season, they ranked 6th, while the Timberwolves only ranked 13th. And in the playoffs, the Thunder ranked 4th, while the Timberwolves only rank 11th. So even though they have Rudy Gobert, one of the biggest and tallest big men in the league, the Thunder with Hartenstein and Chet are just a better rebounding team. And then the last thing I checked when it comes to size was how good these teams are when it comes to limiting in the paint points, because that is good when it comes to rim protecting. Do you have a good rim protector that doesn't allow teams to score points in the paint at a high clip, right? So when I looked at that, the Thunder just are way better at that as well. They ranked first in the normal season when it comes to points in the paint, only allowing 42 per game, while the Timberwolves allowed 48 per game in the normal season, that only ranked 11th. And in the playoffs, the Thunder are under 42. They're only at 40 points per game in the paint, ranking 5th. And the Timberwolves have been better. They have been better in the playoffs. They ranked 2nd, only giving up 39. But like I said, they played the Lakers, who don't have a center, and they played the Warriors, who have Draymond Green at center. So I think that's a little inflated. I still think the Thunder are just a better team when it comes to points in the paint. Look at who the Thunder played. The Thunder played the Nuggets with Jokic, So I just think the Thunder are better when it comes to size. I know it's kind of crazy when you think of Naz Reid and Gobert, but when you look at the stats, man, Chet and Hartenstein have just been better. So next, let's hop into the intangible thing here, playoff experience. You guys know I am a huge believer in playoff experience. We see it every year. The team with more experience is sometimes better than team with better talent. Because especially when it comes to the finals and conference finals, there's going to be a lot of games that come down to the wire. And the player that has played in a moment like that usually always comes out on top. So I kind of broke it down into tiers here. So what I did is I looked at both teams' lineups and looked at how many playoff games a player played and kind of broke it down into tiers. So the first thing I did was the amount of players that a team has that has played 10 plus playoff games. And the Thunder have the advantage there, 11-8. But part of the reason why is because the Timberwolves have a way smaller lineup. They only throw out 8 guys. So basically all 8 of their starters have played 10 plus playoff games. The Thunder just have a deeper lineup. They play more guys. So that doesn't, even though the Thunder have more, that doesn't really mean anything. Then I looked at players with 20 plus playoff games. Same thing. The Thunder have more, but all 8 of the Timberwolves starters have played 20 plus playoff games. So it doesn't really matter. Like all the Thunder starters or all the players that play for the Thunder have 20, and all the players that play for the Timberwolves have 20. So that doesn't really matter. Now we're getting to 30 plus playoff games. Now that's getting into multiple seasons. That's like 3, 4, 5 seasons worth of playoff. And that is where the Timberwolves start taking the edge. The Thunder only have 3 players with 30 plus playoff games, while the Timberwolves have 7 players. You see, that it makes a difference here. Then I went to 40 plus playoff games. The Thunder only have 1, and that's Alex Caruso. The Timberwolves have 3. And then I went to 50 plus playoff games because Gobert and Conley have played 50 plus. Gobert's like at 80 and Conley's at like 100. And you know how many players have played 50 plus for the Thunder? 0. And then I looked at conference finals experience because that's where we're at right now. We're in the conference finals. The only player for the Thunder, Alex Caruso. You know how many players for the Timberwolves have conference finals experience? 7. Basically everyone that plays for the team, almost everyone that plays for the team, has played in the conference finals. And I looked at the finals. So no one on the Timberwolves has finals experience. Caruso is the only one. He won a championship with the Lakers a couple years back, like 4 or 5 years back. So he has that, but still, I'm going to give the experience edge to the Timberwolves. It's not even close. They have so much more playoff experience. They have played in so many more big games, and that might come in handy in this series, man. It really might. The last thing I wanted to look at was clutch. So basically, why I wanted to see this was I want to see which of these teams have more experience in late game situations, clutch games, which team is used to having the pressure on them. And I admit it's kind of confirmation bias. I kind of already had my opinion, but I want to see if the stats backed it up. And I was right. The Thunder just don't have a lot of experience when it comes to clutch games because think of this regular season, man. Think of this regular season. They were so dominant. They blew teams out almost every week. Even this playoff run, the first round, they blew out the Grizzlies. So the Thunder only had 24 clutch games this regular season, which ranks 30th, while the Timberwolves had 46, which ranks first. I will say the Thunder won their clutch games at a higher clip. They won 66% of their clutch games, while the Timberwolves only won 43. But the Timberwolves had almost double a game. So they're going to have a worse percentage. That's just how it goes. I'm not too worried about that. But my perfect example of what I'm talking about is this playoff run. So in this playoff run, the Thunder have had more clutch games. They've had 6, while the Timberwolves have only had 4. But the Thunder have only won 66% of their clutch games. Like I said, they blew out the Grizzlies. And then when it comes to the Nuggets series, they blew out the Nuggets in almost every win. Look at that game 7. They blew them out. The 3 games that the Nuggets won were close games, and the Nuggets pulled them out. When it comes to the Timberwolves, they've won 100%, all 4 of their clutch games this playoffs. The next thing I looked at was, in these clutch games that these teams have played, which team has scored the most points in those clutch situations, and the edge goes to the Timberwolves as well. In the regular season, the Timberwolves had 8.3 clutch points per clutch game, which ranks 18th, while the Thunder only had 6.9, which ranks 29th. And in this playoff run, the Thunder only 9.7 points, which is 5th. The Timberwolves 11.3, which is 2nd. And then the last thing I looked up was the best player on each team, SGA and Anthony Edwards. Which player is a better clutch player? And actually, Anthony Edwards was first in the league in clutch points in the normal season at 157 clutch points, while SGA was only at 67, which ranks 36th. Like I said, SGA is going to have less because he played less games, so that's not big of a deal. But let's look at this playoff run. So SGA has played 2 more games, right? He's played 6 more clutch games. Anthony Edwards has only played 4. And SGA only has 5 more points in 2 games. That just shows you, man, if it's a late game situation, you're probably trusting Anthony Edwards. And if it's a late game situation, you're probably trusting the Timberwolves, right? So I'm going to give the edge in clutch to, obviously, the Timberwolves. So those are all 5 of the key points. The Thunder still take the edge here. If you score it out, it's 3-2 in favor of the Thunder. In this series, I'm so excited because this series will be a test because all the tangible stuff when it comes to size, athleticism, defense, offense, the Thunder won all 3 of those. The Thunder were better in offense, defense, and size. While the intangible stuff, the Timberwolves were better in experience and how clutch they are. So this is a good test. Does the worst team that's more experienced win, or just the team with the better talent win? It's going to be a good series, man, because this will be a good test. So the last thing I need to do is make a prediction, right? I got to pick a winner. And if I had to pick, I would go with the Thunder. And my prediction is Thunder in 6. This is going to be a good series. Anthony Edwards and SGA are both killers. They can both win a game by themselves. And I fully expect there's going to be like 1 or 2 games in Minnesota where Edwards drops like 40 or 50 points and wins the game by himself for sure. And like I said, Minnesota has more experience, has played in bigger games. If it's a close game, I do trust Minnesota and Anthony Edwards more. But the thing is, the Minnesota is going to have to keep it close. That's the job they're going to have to do. I kind of expect there's going to be at least two games where the Thunder win by 10 and it's not even close. Just because I think the Thunder just have a better roster. I think they have a more complete roster. Like I said, Timberwolves have a good defense. They have a solid defense. But the Thunder are just better. They have more length. They have more bodies to throw at Anthony Edwards, make him tired. Caruso, Lu Dort, Jalen Williams, SGA, like just a whole bunch of high effort, two-way players, long players. They just have more. And offensively, man, like I said, Anthony Edwards can go win a game. But other than him, I don't trust anyone else on that roster. Like, Randall is a 20-point per game scorer. I get it. But he's disappeared so many times in his career. I don't trust him. I just don't trust him. And then, like I said, I don't expect Jaden McDaniels to keep up this level of scoring, especially against this Thunder defense. And then they have guys like Naz Reid and DiVincenzo who can get hot, but they're not consistent. SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet have proven, the stats show it, they're 15 points per game or more scorers this whole season, including the playoffs. So I just trust them more. And the last reason why I'm not picking the Timberwolves here is Rudy Gobert. You guys know I'm not a big fan of Rudy Gobert. He is going to get exposed in this playoffs. One of two ways, or both. They're either going to get him in the pick and roll against SGA, and he's either going to get in foul trouble or get blown by, or that double big lineup with Chet, what they're going to do is they're going to get Gobert onto Chet, bring Gobert to the perimeter, because Chet can score from there. And we've seen Gobert try to guard someone from the perimeter. It's not going to work. So because of all those factors, even though I'm a big believer in playoff experience, I'm going to go with the Thunder to make the finals. So that is the full breakdown and prediction for the Western Conference Finals. I'm going to make a similar video for the Eastern Conference Finals before that series starts as well. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love all of you.